Hi, how are you? Actually, in this video, I am going to tell you about some lessons from China. Actually, both India and China are contemporaries, because in 1947, India became independent, and in 1949, China became independent. So, these two countries are almost similar, and both China and India are adopting almost same culture. Same culture may not be a little bit different, but both the civilizations are oldest civilizations in the world, right? That is why there are so many similarities, there are so many friendship, there are so many enmities also, or adversities. So in this video I am just going to tell you how China became or more developed than India, how China grew more rapidly than India, particularly in last 3-4 decades. Okay, so what are the lessons India could learn from China? Because you see, always it is not that only one country will be sufficient, and one country will be a all-knowing country. It is not possible. It is we normally take lessons from different countries. We borrow policies from different countries, and we learn from different countries. And India is very adaptive. India wants to learn, and India wants to adopt those things or policies, and those who which are good, those policies are or maybe included or implemented in the policy programs of India, right? So now the question is, how strong is China in the second decade of the 21st century? Many of you are well aware that while millions of people are not fully aware of the power of China, because China is the second largest economy in the world now. After the first, the largest economy is the United States of America. Second position is held by China. Third position is held by Germany. Fourth position is held by Japan. And thereafter comes India. India holds the fifth largest economy, fifth position. Okay. Thereafter comes our former colonial master, that is United Kingdom. So United Kingdom is now behind us. Their economy is smaller than us. Okay. So question is, Chinese military and economy are so robust that it dares to keep it can compete with the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world. Only United States of America is afraid of China as well as Russia, definitely, though there is no Cold War at present, but still there is internal conflict or Cold War like situation, I would say. Okay, so the most powerful country is the United States of America. Chinese advancement is so spectacular that very few democracies have been able to match with it. Okay, so one, Elvin Cheng and Yanni Li in an article wrote that, quote, China is set to overtake the United States as the world's largest economy a few years earlier than anticipated due to the coronavirus pandemic. In the pandemic, though the gross domestic product of the United States contracted by 2.3% to 20.93 trillion in current dollar terms, China's GDP was expanded by 2.3% in 2020 to 101.6 trillion yuan, which is about $14.7 trillion, and that puts China's economy at only 6.2 trillion behind the United States of America, down from 7.1 trillion in 2019, right, unquote. So it was predicted that China's size of economy might increase to a great extent, but the real milestone will be when China can overtake the US in terms of GDP per capita income. In November 2024, China's per capita GDP rose to $12.97 thousand, while this figure in the USA is 5 times more than that of China. Right. So, United States of America at present, their GDP per capita income is almost $87,000, while India's per capita income is $2,700 only. Okay. So, as per the latest report of Forbes, 4th November 2024, the United States of America is the largest economy with a GDP of $29.17 trillion, and GDP per capita income is $86.6 thousand. Okay, whereas China holds the second position with the GDP of $18.27 trillion. The GDP per capita income of China is $12.97 thousand, is much lower than the United States of America. India, though became the 5th largest economy, its GDP of only $3.89 trillion, and its GDP per capita income is merely $2.7 thousand. Okay, so hence it is clearly understood that India is far behind USA and China. Japan, with a GDP of 4.07 trillion, came down to the 4th position, and Germany with 4.71 trillion rose above Japan to become the 3rd position. Okay. Now the question is how the USA, China, Germany and Japan achieved this success, because always we shall compare with us or with our economy with the advanced countries who are ahead of us. So, these are the 4 countries who are ahead of India in terms of GDP per capita income, okay, and GDP, total GDP, right. That is why we will make a comparative study of India and United States of America, China, Germany and Japan, right. So, but at first I will discuss with China, because China is our most nearest competitor, rather I would say, and how China grew in last 3 decades. It is a matter of research, right. So, before learning from a country, it is always better to learn about the origin of a country. So, let us find out a little bit, let us discuss a little bit about the origin of contemporary China. In this endeavor, I chose to find some rare books on China in the National Library of Kolkata, and I found a very useful book entitled A General Description of China, containing the topography of 15 provinces which compose this vast empire, that of Tartary, the Isles and other tributaries countries, volume 2. It was written in 1788. From this book I came to know that Chinese sovereignty was basically patriarchal, okay, like India. I told in the beginning that both India and China are having many similarities, okay, and however, the author or the translator, rather you can say, he wrote that the translator was Grossier Abbé. He beautifully narrated the sovereign authority of China in the 16th to 17th century. Okay, the quote, "The Chinese government brings to a resemblance that of patriarch. Whatever authority these had over their families, the same is exercised in the fullest manner by the emperor of China over his subjects. It besides evidently appears that the monarchical government, taken to its utmost extent, is founded upon the patriarchal, and in this view we consider it when we speak that of China. No potentate on earth possesses so unlimited power as the sovereign of this numerous nation. All authority is vested in him, and him only. He is the undisputed master of lives of the subjects, yet he seldom employs his prerogative but to provide for their safety and promote their happiness. No sentence of death pronounced by any of the tribals can be executed without his consent. A wonderful care in an empire so populous and extensive, but at the same time necessary to render the tribunals more cautious and circumspect in their conduct. Those, therefore, of China seldom venture to give a rash decision in matters of so great importance. Okay, every verdict in affairs purely civil is subject to the same revision, and no determination is of any force until it has been confirmed by the emperor. Unquote. How did China overcome India in last 3 decades? Let us learn from the history of China. India and China were almost contemporary at an equal stage when both countries became republics in the 40s of previous century. Wen Zhou, a professor of Yunnan Normal University, China, compared the economic growth of China and India in an article. In that article, he elaborately highlighted the strategies and policies taken by Chinese government, how China overcame India. In that article, Wen Zhou wrote about a comparative study, right, how Chinese government overtook India in the post-independence period that helped them to excel India. Professor Zhou wrote, in the early stages following the foundation of People's Republic of China, PRC, the national economies of China and India were at similar levels. So, when both the countries were or became independent, at that time the national economies of both China and India were almost equal stand. In the 1950, India's gross domestic product was 49.5% higher than that of China, right? So, India was more advanced than China in the 50s of last century. And as for the per capita GNP or gross national product, India was 2.3 times higher than that of China. But what is the position now in India? So, while the Chinese per capita gross domestic product was only 43.5% of India's, right? But the situation began to deteriorate in India, and the Chinese economy made rapid progress and notable achievements substantially and subsequently were recognized as the Chinese miracle. India's growth and development were uneven, but attained noticeable progress after a series of economic reform policies since 1991. We come to know from the writings of Wen Zhou that Chinese economic reform and development have taken a traditional route to industrialization, in which manufacturing industry has been established as the core force to drive development of other industries and to eventually accelerate the development of national economy and promote the adjustment, optimization and upgrading of industrial structures. So, China from an agrarian economy bent towards industrialization. On the other hand, India from its agriculture based economy remained agriculture based economy and avoided industrialization, or it did not or could not adopt industrialization as its and service industries as India's primary contributor to economy. Why? There was a great reason. though Communist Party of India has come from Chinese, where they are Communist Party of India is very much encouraged and very much influenced by the Communist Party of China and Communist Party of Soviet Russia. But both those countries, both China and Russia, took up industrialization, and though they grew optimally, they grew enormously. On the other hand, the communists here in India began to make destructive politics, and only because of their politics, their slogans were Venge dao, guriye dao, means destruct all, smash all, destruct all, mash all, smash all, destruct all, smash all. Then chakka band means closure of wheels, means they will not allow any vehicle to move on. So they are demonstrations, they are processions, they are destructive politics, and they are anti-industrialization outlook, and created enmity between the industrialists and laborers following the Marxist philosophy. The communists in India created a problem for Indian governments, though CPIM never came as a whole or as a party in power, but many times since independence they were the allies of the ruling party. Okay, so as a part of the ruling party, you just think from 2004 to 2014 in UPA 1 and UPA 2 under Manmohan Singh government. Under UPA 1, Communist Party of India was there, RSP was there, CPI was there. They are all Marxist parties, okay, or socialist parties. So their policies of non-industrialization based on, they at first wanted to make or grow Indian economy by depending on the agriculturists, depending on the laborers, depending on the backward community people, depending on the laboring people, depending on the toiling people, depending on the the farmers. So they gave emphasis on agriculture. That is why the subsequent governments since independence had to resort agriculture mainly. Only during the 1990s, when P.V. Narasimha Rao came to power, he liberalized economy, he modernized Indian economy, and he made foreign direct investment or foreign investment. He opened the door of foreign direct investment in India. So 3 decades ago, the development process of India started. I am not saying that Nehru did not do anything. Pandit Nehru did a lot as per his capacity and time and his situation. Indira Gandhi also did a lot, and you say Dr. Manmohan Singh also did a lot. P.V. Narasimha Rao did many things. So all the prime ministers tried to do, but during the prime ministership of Narendra Modi in 2014 to 2024 and now 2025, in the last 11 years, in the third term of Narendra Modi, he has been trying, or this present government has been trying to make a stride in development of India, but that is not sufficient. Why I am saying? Because still there are many obligations, many obstructions, many drawbacks, and many policy lacunas, as well as implementation. There is lacuna in implementation of those policies due to bureaucratic red tapeism, okay, and political nincompoop attitude, and political hooliganism, and due to differentiation between the political ideology of the ruling party in the center and their opposition party in center, as well as many opposition parties ruling in different states of India. Okay, so I am not going in that kind of contradiction now. Here my question is, how India what India can learn from China. Chinese government what did they do, that I will highlight here, because I say that it comes to knowledge that Chinese government gave emphasis on industrialization from the beginning. Okay, so Chinese economy development has experienced a process of enhancing the domestic manufacturing industry, and accordingly the general industrialization of the country by considerably expanding investment demand by domestic investment and foreign direct investment entry and export demand with huge trade surplus. Okay. McKinsey and Company claims that the development of the manufacturing industry has made the Chinese mainland a world factory within a short period of 20 years. You just think, within a short period of 20 years, China became a world factory. But what is the position here in India? Here in India, when I compare the small scale industries of China and India, I find there are 3 crore small scale industries, manufacturing industries, whereas in India it is only 1 crore 5 lakh. So India needs to increase its manufacturing industries. The government of India led by Narendra Modi, this government, why I prefer this government? Because this government and this Prime Minister Narendra Modi is saying that make in India. Make in India means you whatever industrialization you want to do, you make in India, manufacture in India. And they are saying that government it is not possible for any government to provide job to the people. No government, neither Congress, neither CPM, nor BJP, nor any government. Any government can provide, not a single government can provide 100% job to our youths. Maybe highly qualified youths, PhD youths, skilled youths, engineers, doctors, there will be unemployment. This is a fact I am saying. Only the skilled people, skilled of skills, okay, more skilled people will be the fittest people nowadays in the 21st century. Okay, so then what the Prime Minister of India is saying? He is saying that be entrepreneurship, be entrepreneurs. So the government of India is trying to make entrepreneurs. What I suggest? I suggested in my book, How Can India Become a Superpower by 2047, a vision that was published in the last year. And in the next book, just last month, I published another book, Viksit Bharat, because the government of India is thinking about Viksit Bharat. Viksit Bharat, challenges and solutions. In the solutions part, I have given solutions. I have given recommendations that government of India, what the government of India should do? Government of India should give a target to every district magistrate that you have to make at least 100 small scale industries or medium scale industries in your district. And if they can do, if they minimum, this is minimum target, if they can do fulfill this target, then 776, take it 700 districts, 700 into 7,000 in a year, 7,000 in a year means 7,020 years, after 20 years, how many? 7,000 into 2, about 14 lakh, like this, this will be the figure. But this is also not sufficient to become at par or to overcome China. We need to make more manufacturing industries, maybe small scale, maybe large scale, maybe medium scale industries. Okay. So we have to, every subdivision rather it can do, every subdivision can make 100 small scale and medium scale industries. Then might be now, then the development of India can be possible, and India could reach the target of $30 trillion economy by 2047, right. So you see, India, as China gave emphasis or became a manufacturing hub of the world, India should become manufacturing hub by replacing China, right. So I do not want to hear that China will be the world's factory. Rather, India should be the world's factory by the end of 2047, right. For that, the policymakers, the Niti Aayog, the professors, the planners and the researchers will think, I have thought this much and I am suggesting to the government of India. Okay. So first, introduction of a foreign capital has gained notable achievement. By 2010, the Chinese foreign direct investment mounted up to $105.7 billion. You just imagine. Whereas India's foreign direct investment was much lower. It is almost last year it was almost $70 billion. So we are much behind of China, right. So we have to increase our foreign direct investment. So until now, with over 30 million foreign companies carrying out businesses activities in China. How many? 30 million foreign companies carrying out business activities in China. 30 million foreign companies, they are doing business in China. But how many companies are doing business in India? So India also should attract more investors. Every Indian state, every Indian district and every Indian union territories should attract or should promote their best things and should attract maybe through tourism, for industrialization, for education, for infrastructure, for science and technology, for manufacturing of jet, for manufacturing of software, hardware, it should be drones. Okay. So and other valuable things, airplanes, ships. These things should be manufactured in India with foreign direct investment or through collaboration. Okay. So at present, India's volume of total imports and exports ranks the second largest in the world. Third, China's foreign direct investment has made considerable progress. Yeah, it was really very important. China's FDI outflows and had maintained steady and rapid growth for 8 consecutive years, with an average annual growth rate of over 50%, ranked 5th after America, France, Japan and Germany in the world. Fourth, the national per capita income is also increasing rapidly in China. The gap in gross national income per capita between China and the developed countries' average level has reduced significantly. China's per capita GNI ratio to developed countries' average level has increased from 24.8% in 2005 to 41.8% in 2009. You just imagine the growth from 2005 to 2009, 24.8% to 41.8%. The growth is more than double. So fifth, the total scale taken in the world economy has been increasing. So Chinese GDP taking in the world Just a minute. Taking in the world's second largest economy for the first time in 2010, the proportion of China's GDP in the world has increased year by year from the 5% in 2005 to 9% in 2010. Meanwhile, the gap between China and USA gradually reduced. The ratio of US GDP has risen from 17.9% in 2005 to 40.2% in 2010. If the total GDP in 2010 is taken as the base, the American economy develops at an average annual rate of 2%, while China's GDP grows at an annual rate of 8%. You see, the growth of economy, while Chinese economy is growing at the rate of 8%, at that time US's economy is growing at the rate of only 2%. So that is why, you see how fast China is growing. The world, all the people, all the leaders of the world should learn from China. Yes. However, Zhou and Lian in an article in 2011 predicted that in 2025 Chinese GDP will rank alongside or outpace America's, but it was not realized. China is still far behind United States of America, right? Further, it was indicated the poor performance of Indian economy. India's economy performed poorly during the 1950s to 1970s because India got independence and it was a newly free country, but whatever it may be, in the 1950 India's per capita income was about 40% higher than China's, while in 1978 the two countries almost had equal per capita income. So in the first 2 decades of independence, China became at par with India, though it was much lower in terms of economy of India, right? So in 1999, in 1980, India's economy began to speed up and the economic growth accelerated in 1990s. In 1999, China's per capita income increased to twice that of India's, and India's economic growth reached 6% during 1980 to 2002 and 7.5% during 2002 to 2010, while China's average annual GDP grew by 10% in 1978 to 2010. Have you seen how Chinese economy is growing faster than India? So India should take up that kind of policies which might accelerate Indian economy. Now I would like to conclude here because the time has been ended, 33 minutes. Okay, I will tell in the next video.